Well, it's 20 minutes before 2 on the 4th of July. Happy 4th of July, no matter what day it is, where you are, whenever you're watching this. The hometown cable cameras and Gordy Little and Calvin Castine at downtown Plattsburgh on Lower Bridge Street to catch the ambiance connected with the 4th of July parade. I did get my flag out, and it didn't get wet this morning, although it did rain a little bit as we sat on the back deck by the river and drank our coffee early today. I don't know if you've never been to the city of Plattsburgh, you don't know this, but we've been down here many times, Calvin and me, together and separately, and this is an historic part of the community. To my right and Calvin's left is the historic D&H Railroad Station. The Fouquet House is on the other side as we swing violently back and forth to catch them all. But it's, you know what? It is a wonderful treat for me to see this great old train station surviving today. It's had various businesses and restaurants in it, and I don't know in the background if you could hear it, but the sound of the trains coming in and out here are frequent. So a lot of people get on these trains and travel to Albany and thence to New York City on a daily basis. So it is a historic end of town. The docks are at the other end. Calvin shot first, the building on our left, the Fouquet or Fouquet House, depending on your pronunciation. Perhaps you've seen the old postcards and photographs. It dates way back into the almost a century and a half ago. It was a lot larger and housed businesses. Now it houses a number of apartments and is a very interesting place. If it sounds like we're not in exactly the same venue as we have been for all the previous years for the 4th of July, it's because there is construction on some of the streets in Plattsburgh, and we're holding onto our hats with one hand as we talk. I can hear a train coming in now. We try to supply the sound effects. That's beautiful. But in any case, there is road construction in the city, and the parade route has changed considerably. The parade is forming in downtown Plattsburgh. Lower Bridge Street, Hamilton Street, coming around the corner. And we will have the pleasure of being here when it starts on Lower Bridge Street. We'll travel up to City Hall Place and there you go. Oh, I think he likes us. All the big tank cars going by.
Let's count the oil cars.
Yes, count them. 17, 18. You hear us talk about them, you think we're fibbing to you folks? No, look at them all. Lots and lots of them heading down to Lake Champlain, heading south. There are a bunch of them. But as I started to say, the parade route will take it on City Hall Place, the much improved in recent years City Hall Place, and it'll head down to Cumberland Avenue and go across the railroad overpass known to us as the Smithweed Bridge or Old Humpy, and will end where it used to start, down by the Elks Club on Cumberland Avenue. So that's the theory. We're at 19 minutes before 2 in the afternoon. Calvin has arrived from Alburgh, Vermont. How was it?
It was a very nice parade, but I'm very glad we happen to be here just at this moment because I've been hoping to catch this little parade of oil cars for quite a while now. It goes through Rouse's Point and makes its way down, but they don't do it on a regular time schedule because for safety reasons.
Yes, as you can imagine. So
this is just about a year ago. We just celebrated the 1 year, well, didn't celebrate it, but commemorated the 1 year anniversary of that disaster.
Horrendous up in Quebec.
Yeah, just north of the Maine border, Magonk. I can never remember what that.
Neither can I, but it's up there.
Yeah, and this is the type of train that was going through there.
Yes.
And it's the emergency services people have been doing a lot of
training.
Yeah, a lot of training, a lot of planning for what could happen if something happened here, and you can see it could be quite a disaster with all these oil cars going by.
So here we are on the 4th of July, 2014, getting a picture of all of it. Many of my close friends are what we call rail fans. There's the end of it right there. So they'd get up in the middle of the night if they heard something like this was coming through town. They would know the number on the cars, they would know the number on the engine, they would be listening to their scanners because they hear all the dispatchers talking back and forth, and it's become a way of life for people like just about any other hobby. So the parade will be getting underway, and there's a special theme this year, one that Calvin and I personally espouse, and one that I guess we can connect with Hometown Cable in this case and every other case. It's called Parade of Heroes of Clinton County, a salute to the armed forces. So as I said a moment ago, it begins here on Bridge Street. We'll go up to City Hall Place, turning right onto City Hall, to the railroad bridge overpass on Cumberland Avenue and down to the Wilcox Dock area. And the reviewing stand will be at City Hall, and we won't.
No.
We decided to be on this end of town, so when the parade is over, we can make a quick getaway and go to our previously scheduled engagements, if you will. But there are other things going on in many areas of the North Country. Tonight, for example, 4 to 7, and the Mayor's Cup Voice, McDonough Bandshell. 7 to 9, entertainment provided by 97.5 Radio with Band Moving On at McDonough Bandshell. And 9:20, the fireworks, or whenever it's dark enough. Have you seen any yet? Any fireworks up your way yet, Cal?
Nope. Rouse's Point will be Sunday, and this is, I think I saw this is their 59, I forget, 64th annual Rouse's Point Parade. Or
something in that, yeah.
Yeah, 54th maybe. Maybe
Well,
54. I don't know, 64.
I think
maybe
it's
I
in
don't.
the 60th.
No, it can't be 60 because I'd take them back way back.
It was on in the early 60s when I got
Yeah, early
here, so
60s,
I know it's
which
at least
is
53 years old.
Right. So it's I think it's 54th annual. So I'd take it back to 61, and as a fellow throwing bales in the early 60s, we never thought about going to the parade. If we were lucky, we'd get done haying in time to sit on our lawn, and we could see the fireworks.
The fireworks at night, yeah.
Yeah, and we're in Champlain. 10 miles away as a crow flies from from the fireworks, but we could see them. But yeah, so Rouse's Point stuff is starting this tonight. There's a community choir, and the Straw Hatters are playing there tonight. So there's a lot of things going on throughout the North Country. And
Rouse's Point has always been one of the premier festivities around the 4th of July, and at many other times throughout the year. But we've taken time since we started doing this program together in 1997 to salute all the little towns and the larger cities across the North Country, and to honor them for caring about these celebrations, which go back a long, long ways.
And looking at the train go by this afternoon, the train station finally opened up. They're calling it a soft opening, but they had quite a few cars there. Rouse's Point,
No
D&H.
kidding.
It's finally opened up. I did a little program there a couple days ago.
Wonderful.
And they're opening up today and tomorrow. Then middle of July, they're opening up, and I hope to open up on a regular basis and be open 3, 4, 5 days a week.
I'm so happy because we were there in the very beginning when they were ripping the place apart and thinking about raising funds to do it. And that's this honest and sweat-producing effort on all these communities to try to get these buildings preserved and restored. So many great old train stations that I grew up with are long gone.
Yeah. So
that's why I'm so proud to see this one still going on at D&H and actually still being used down at the depot every single day of the week. Rouse's Point was and is special because it's a hub up there, you know.
Yeah, there were 5 to 7 different trains going through there on a regular basis back in the old days. And what I've been told when I did that story a couple days ago is that right now, as far as they know, there's nobody who lives in Rouse's Point still working for the railroad. So
come on.
Is that possible? Who resides in Rouse's Point, nope. So.
Oh my goodness.
And Rouse's Point used to live off the railroad business. A lot of hotels were built that are no longer there, but it was certainly a big factor in the development of Rouse's Point so many years ago.
And so many other communities that we
definitely.
talked about. Thank goodness that I loved that day when we got a lot of the historians and older folks from the Rouse's Point area and just sat around and told these stories about things that they remember as they were kids. people who are now in their 70s, 80s, and some into their 90s. And we like to do that. We like to talk about these communities and the various events that set them apart from the others throughout the year. You can hear that's got to be the police, Plattsburgh police group practicing. You got to warm up those, warm up the pipes. And you have to have a special ear for the pipes, and I certainly do with my Scottish and Irish background. Once again, the hometown cable cameras are, I just think of Otis Redding and sitting on the dock of the bay, because here we are in Lake Champlain, just hooping a holler, as my grandmother used to say, from the scene of the Battle of Plattsburgh on September 14th, 1814. You can see the masts from the sailboats right down here. And the parade will end up at another docking area called Wilcox Dock, which was almost derelict for many years, and now that's opened up to traffic on the other end of town. So things are hopping.
Yeah, this is an attractive place for us to shoot the parade, I think. You got the lake there, you got the old train station here on the other side, so I'm liking this spot.
I do already.
Yeah.
Except for the time when your hat went flying. Yeah. We might have to use some duct tape on the back of your head before.
Temperature was fluctuating. It was in the mid 60s, and it hit 71 for a high in my car on the way down here, but I think it dropped off again once the...
Calvin, I'm liking it compared to the day when I was telling my kids from down south this morning, the day when you and I stood in front of the field house on Upper River Street.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sure it was over 100 that day.
Oh, yeah, and that's the day they lost one of the parade goers.
I was telling my kids about the man on stilts that went by, and we wondered how he could stand it, and apparently he did not.
Yeah.
Well, we've covered not only these parades, but I've asked Calvin numerous times. You should have kept tally somewhere on a sheet how many parades you've covered, but it's hundreds and hundreds, and some of them you've been to year after year after year in Moore's Forks and Vermont and downtown Plattsburgh for the Battle of Plattsburgh celebration. We hope the commemorations are even brighter and stronger this year than they've ever been before. But still, we're losing something in the global marketing category, even though the Chamber professes to do a great job at that. There are people who live only, 800 or 900 miles from here who have never heard about the Battle of Plattsburgh.
It's hard to believe, but there are people that don't know what's going on.
Thanks to Johnny Horton and people in New Orleans, they know about this battle and the Battle of New Orleans, though. So anyway, it's a good day to be alive. It's good to be here. I went shopping early this morning to pick up some items for the family, and my wife called me on the phone in the grocery store. I thought she wanted some extra things. You know what she said?
No.
You forgot to put the flag out.
Uh-oh.
So the minute I got home, I got the flag and put it out proudly. Nice new flag out in the front of my house. And, it's something for all of us to think about, because Calvin and I have mentioned this numerous times in the past. How, I wonder if there'll be a bicycle in today's parade. I don't know. There were many when we were kids, right? Right, with all the...
Ruining a lot of baseball cards.
A lot of baseball cards with the red and white and blue tape throughout the spokes, so you could barely pedal. But those were the days when kids got into it and everybody got into it. So it looks like it might be a sizable parade today, and I hope it is. They work very hard here in the city of Plattsburgh to commemorate its own history and patriotic things like this, and since Calvin and I have been almost intimately involved honoring veterans down through the year on various occasions, recording programs at the VFWs and the Legion posts and parades and so on. And now with the North Country Honor Flight, it's a special pleasure for us to be here when we honor our veterans. I imagine we'll have a few World War II heroes in the parade today. Did you have a few this morning?
Well, there wasn't any particular World War II floats in there, but there were a lot of veterans in the parade.
There were. So the veterans organizations, sometimes they ride and sometimes they walk, and they do that proudly. So our parade should be getting underway, if we're on time, in about 8 minutes flat in downtown Plattsburgh.
Yeah, and you mentioned up at the field house for starting a parade up there. The last several years, we've been down in front of the Elks Club, and here we are here. And of course, we did several of them starting up at Hawkins Hall too.
Oh yes, we did.
I don't know if we've done too many where we actually stood on the reviewing stand, but the reason we do this is because we've got places to go and things to do, and this allows us, by being on the outskirts of the parade, allows us to cover the entire parade and hit the road and get to whatever else we have to do. Like tonight, I'll be in Rouse's Point for a couple of things, and you've got family and friends to associate with this afternoon that they're up for the holidays, and so it allows us to do both.
Going on, and I was telling Calvin before we put the cameras on that we've got a granddaughter and her family and friends that are on vacation, and guess where, folks? In case you haven't heard of Arthur, our favorite Hurricane Arthur, the first one of the season, in the Outer Banks of North Carolina, that's where they are. Except that they stayed in Norfolk, Virginia last night. And yes, thank God they've got the weather app on their iPhones or whatever kind of weird phones they carry. So they called this morning to say, we're fine, we're fine. People aren't afraid up here. So as a matter of fact, just because we like to mention things that are historical, never, ever, ever has a hurricane hit on the 4th of July, and it's certainly never hit the Outer Banks on the 4th of July. This is the earliest hurricane ever recorded to cross that area since meteorological records were kept, I think, back in the 1850s. Because generally the nasty hurricanes are around August.
Well, once the water heats up more, but hurricane season starts in June, and as early as May you get storms that almost become tropical storms.
They come from the other end of the country. We've seen hurricanes in the Gulf of Mexico at this time of year, but very rarely on this coast. So anyway, we're glad it didn't cause any devastating damage, and that most people are safe, and hopefully most of those buildings on the Outer Banks, thanks to learning from history, are equipped to handle 80-mile-an-hour winds, and these winds were around 100, so most of them survived. Maybe a few shingles in the drink,
Yep.
Well, we're getting close. We're just 5 minutes away. See a lot. All right, you know what, folks? Calvin just moved his finger to me at the stroke of 2 o'clock.
And we got the first flash of red light in the police car.
Yes, we did.
We got the first one.
The first one. Mark that down on your calendars.
Hey, Jerry, you're late.
So I think the parade is just about to get underway. The first police car, the first fire truck, engine number 282 from the city of Plattsburgh on its way by. And there's Donna Tremblay. Happy 4th, Donna. She's riding in the fire truck, and isn't that nice?
There's your buddy waving to you.
Yeah, we waved at Donna and mentioned her name. So this is good. It isn't a true parade unless you have at least one contingent of people who have to march on their feet for the whole distance.
I was just chatting with Jerry Tatro and the bagpipers, and
he said they don't know where they're lining up. He didn't get the word.
The memo.
There's always people who don't get the word. Well, he's here.
He's already out of breath, though. He's been walking all over the area.
That's one thing you can't be, is out of breath when you start to play. I don't know how anybody can have the lung control to do that. Anyway, the parade is coming right up from the docks, not too far from the Naked Turtle, the spot where Frank Pabst had his juniper for so many years on Lake Champlain. At times, this area has been the subject of not a small amount of controversy, including a beautiful hotel that was to be built near the parking lot on the left-hand side as you're looking toward the lake.
Well, we got a beautiful parking lot in the meantime.
We got enough place for a lot of people. We could have Grotto come down here and juggle and ride his unicycle all day long and entertain the places. But we've seen a lot of interesting things here in downtown Plattsburgh since the beginning. Thank you. Now you can learn, lead, and serve as a cadet for the Civil Air Patrol.
The first time I saw the Civil Air Patrol was back in 1995 when a fellow from Peru, Lynn Wilkie, was in charge, and they were doing some stuff at the closing of the air base. And
Isn't
the
that
last
amazing?
Flag Day, then the closing ceremonies, and impressive group.
Well, I always had a close connection with the Civil Air Patrol and those people in it, those people who ran it, those people who flew, and the young cadets. When I was on the radio, you know, I even went up in one of their small planes one time.
Wow.
As a passengers, they were making believe, as I shouldn't say making believe, but they were seriously practicing what they would do in the case there was a downed aircraft or something.
That's what you got to do. You got to train.
So they're a good group, and we've known so many people involved, and that's a good thing to start off, Dave, by saluting the Civil Air Patrol, and we will be saluting a lot of the parades and heroes, a lot of the heroes of Clinton County later on, because this is a salute to the armed forces. I gotta say, give them credit for starting right on the stroke of 1 o'clock.
2 o'clock.
Or 2 o'clock. I keep saying 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock Chicago time.
There's your boys from the Civil Air Patrol. So we got a good group of bagpipers here today. Most of them all personal friends of ours. Some of them have been playing for a long time, and some for just a year or two. Let's listen. Well, the first weekends are here, downtown Plattsburgh. Very interesting, relatively new concept. Events in the first weekends of the month.
We're safely behind the pylon, so we're going to move out.
We should be okay. Prepare to evacuate, though, in case of an emergency.
There's the honor flight.
There's our friends. There's our... Hey, my friend. How are you?
All right, we got our own lollipop.
There's our honor flight that we've been talking about right there. We salute them, every single one of those people. Another one. Oh, my goodness. The Candy Man is here. Thank goodness I have grandchildren in town. I'm not sure they'll be able to get them if I eat them on the way home, though.
There's the Mustang Club, 50 years.
Oh, goodness sake, yes, the 50 years for the Mustang.
And you're going to be gone when Denny Egglefield has his 50-year thing in the middle of July 20-something.
Good. Are you going down?
Yeah, July. Yeah, it's I think it's 13th. It's coming up next weekend.
Oh, the day after I leave?
Yeah.
Oh, I would be so tempted to come back.
We're going to have all kinds of Fords, but they're saluting the 50-year anniversary.
Talk about a North Country iconic vehicle right there. There it is. I wasn't necessarily talking about the people in the car. That's another dandy right there. It's beautiful. Once again, we don't have the parade schedule. We had one last year in the rain, didn't we?
Yeah.
Boy, did my copy get awful soaked.
But Kelly told us that was his last one. He was retiring.
Oh, yeah, so we didn't get one this year.
No.
But we did manage to get wet right through to the skin, you and I.
Boy.
We stood on the ladies' porch for a little while, but that was almost after the fact. That was almost redundant.
It was very nice of her to invite us there, though.
Plattsburgh City Council. Plattsburgh is beautiful. How are you, Crusher?
What's left of Crusher?
Yeah, what's left? A shadow of his former self.
Yeah, baby, this is how we roll. We rolling into town. With nothing else to do, we take another lap around. Yeah, holla at your boy if you need a ride. If you roll with me, yeah, you know we rolling high. Up on them 37 needles, windows tinted, hard to see though. I fresh my baby gears in the shotgun seal. Kisses off of me, automatic like a freak.
I know Meg LaFay very well because she and I worked together on the magazines called Plattsburgh of the Strictly Business magazine and the Strictly Food for Thought magazine. She's a wonderful young woman.
I assume this is the Army Reserve here.
We'd have to say that because it says U.S. Army on it.
I don't think they're from Fort Drum, so
I don't
thinking
think
it's
so.
a local reserve.
Got to be the local folks.
Well, that's something I missed when you used to have those convoys that used to drive down Route 11.
Over and over and over. Of course, I saw many of them back in the day when I lived up in that area. When I was a little boy and learned to swim at a place called Pine Camp, that was the original name for that area, and troops were there way back. We're talking about the early to mid 1940s and early 1950s. So we're proud to have them here as we do a salute to our armed forces today. That's quite a vehicle.
Yeah.
I don't think that one floats though, do you? I don't think that's an amphibian.
That'll mow your lawn in an awfully big hurry.
Yeah.
The tires cost more than my car does.
Yeah, you know that. Center stage. There they are. That's not real hair though.
Oh, it could be real hair.
Oh, it could be. I honestly don't know. They have a reviewing stand, and I imagine they'll give trophies and prizes for, Calvin and I have been to many of those parades. I don't know, you've been a judge of some of them, haven't you, Calvin?
No.
Oh, I have.
No.
And it's always a difficult job because you know all the people involved and everyone, and you have to pick winners. They're all winners as far as I'm concerned. Here's the center stage again.
Like Little Orphan Annie.
Yeah, well, I guess so. They all got their orange hair. Nice of them to perform right in the beginning for us right here, isn't it? Yeah, we've had music and dance. And I love the little ones.
Put me in, coach. I'm ready to play.
Yeah, you're
Center
ready.
stage.
You got it, baby. Congratulations to all the groups and the adults who volunteer for many of these organizations to give the...
I'd be tired if I'd have to do this for 2.5 miles. I'd be tired.
Yes. I think maybe they just do it once and for us, and maybe, huh? That's pretty good.
We're not done yet.
I'm tired watching them, I'll tell you that. They got the rhythm, they got the motion. It's nice when they separate the units in the parade by a little bit. Makes it a nice long parade for those people who are watching, and in spite of the cloudy skies, the temperatures are far less humid than they've been for a number of days now. So we're lucky to be here in the low 70s.
Yeah, it's a little cool, but this is much more comfortable.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Much more comfortable than we've had the last several days.
This is center stage, by the way. One of many such groups around the world and the country.
Relay for Life, you were there a couple of days.
Yes, we were. There's a very special people, having had 2 sons and a lot of family members and friends who are cancer survivors who are battling these days. Having done our little TV show for Hometown Cable up there and walked around, we know what it's all about. We got a lot of American flags, and that's as it should be. After all, this is the 4th of July.
There's Rod Sherman's red Jeep. We saw his other one up there.
We saw his other one, Rod, a good friend from the city school system. There's another Jeep, and there's another Jeep.
What is this group there?
I don't know. Hockey. the hockey group.
Hey, Rob.
Hey, Rob. I think that's a hockey group.
The Lumberjills.
Yeah. There's a tall girl right there.
Mostly on roller skates.
Yeah. So they're gonna play.
Shooting my camera with the rain. I don't like
hope
that.
they didn't get the
I have to
lens.
go hit that kid.
Hello, thank you.
Thank you.
Look at you, you got a full.
How many of those foam cozies do you think I owned, right? I'll put it right there for now.
That's politician time.
Oh yeah, well, what would a North Country parade be without politicians in it? We've already had a couple. Oh, here come our friends.
Little driver here almost ran over somebody
Oh,
crossing
I noticed that.
the.
You know, this is the 200th anniversary commemorating the battles of Plattsburgh, especially the one that was held in the bay not far from where we're standing on Lower Bridge Street in Plattsburgh with the hometown cable camera. So,
I can remember when they
oh boy.
when they floated that bateau for the
Is that
first
one
time.
on the internet?
I don't know.
I don't know if it's on the internet or not, but if it is, we were there when the rooster went in. And we thought last year's parade day was rainy. That day there were sheets of rain that assailed us at the Plattsburgh Municipal Beach as we tried to get in and out of the rain to commemorate that.
We're hip deep in the water, launching that bateau.
Oh, my
it was a fun
goodness.
day, but it was just one of those things that sticks in your mind.
We were talking to my grandson-in-law, who's a teacher in Malone, who brought a field trip group of kids to go through Ausable Chasm, and I was telling them about how the bateaus used to go down through there, which they don't know anymore since all the floods, and they use the large life rafts, I call them now, the rubber rafts. I love it.
Not the only one who lost his hat.
I love it. Watch out. He's liable to fire that thing, and you're liable to have to
We give
jump.
up. We give up. We surrender.
That's a great boat. It's been around for a long time. That was probably, what, 10, 12, 15 years ago? I can't remember. A long time ago.
It's been a while, yes.
Yeah.
Just saw Craig Russell go by, and
I
the
did too.
Langlois Dance School, I guess, coming behind us here. They're starting that Battle of Plattsburgh stuff early. Sometime in August, they're going to be up at Fort Lennox. So
Oh, they
I got
are?
to get a definitive date from Craig, and
Yeah.
hopefully we can both be there. I
that'd
know
be
I'll
great.
do everything I can to get there.
That would be wonderful.
Usually they have about 500 dancers here. Must be the cool weather.
so?
Scared them
It
away.
is a cool day. This is the Langlois Racine group, as you know, the dance school. Taught dancing to literally thousands of kids for a long, long time. Something in every community for kids. Some in the cities, some in the towns. There's always some caring adult who dedicate their time. Good kids still a real passion for the arts, and that's good.
Hey, we're gonna win a car here. I don't know how we can do it, but
We would take a chance. We'll speak well of them, maybe that would help.
Yeah, big shoe. There's a big shoe in the back of that truck. So I don't know if that was just Lenny's Shoe and Apparel float or...
Lenny, that creature gives it away. Floats are big and this is little stuff. Children's store, Riverhouse Street.
Little steps.
Brisk wind is blowing. Lower Bridge Street in Plattsburgh. We're here with Hometown Cable Cameras on 4th of July 2014, directly in front of the D&H Railroad Station, right on the corner of McDonough and Lower Bridge Street. McDonough, of course, named after the famous Commodore Thomas McDonough out of the Plattsburgh station. Obviously, we got a few great old automobiles here in the parade. That's what you're looking at now. That's pretty old.
I could use a little bit of a
I should be advertising a body shop.
All right, Fox 44 is here.
A number of people connected with the media outlets here in the North Country.
I think I should paint my car like that, Hometown Cable. Look.
Yeah, I think you should. Yeah. At least have magnetic signs on the side. It's a nice Challenger. You want some muscle? You got one right there.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Especially if you like purple.
If you like purple. Yeah. The North Stars are here. You know, we have a local semi-professional football team. We watch them struggle through the years, and a lot of people think they would survive, but guess what, folks? They're still here. There's a good bunch of people involved in that organization.
And they've won the title a couple of times, too.
Yes, they have. Helicopter going overhead. That's cool.
I wonder if that's the same one that was in Alberg today.
Could be. Maybe get down to see us, huh?
Yeah. Camera's waving back. Airborne.
Oh, yes. Racing Saturday night at 6 p.m. Another great North Country institution. Calvin and I both love old vehicles. I'm old and he's much younger, but we love to go up with our own cars. You know, there are several classic car groups up there. This is one of them. Getting brave, more. We're getting close to the white line now.
Well, there's nobody coming off that side road anymore, so.
Great old car. Reminiscent by 1934. Ford pickup. I think that's more than 80 horsepower in that one, though.
Not the original engine.
No, not the original flathead. It's got a real nose in it.
I think Marvin's been drinking too much.
I was a Mustang, was he, huh?
Go from extremely low to the ground to the other extreme.
Shiny and nice. In case you didn't know, there's a lot of money involved in that vehicle right there. many things that they give away at local private town. Hey, Billy. Another vehicle with
Wow.
more than 80 horsepower. I guarantee you that. What I see on the bell. Look how low this one is going. There's no potholes, but lower.
No speed bumps.
The old coupe, we love them.
Yeah.
Love the old coupe. That's the Ford Deluxe. I had a 39. My first car was a 39 Ford Deluxe. I think this is a Ford, making 45.
I don't know. Let's paint a 5 7/8 on it.
Yeah, we could. Charlie would come back to celebrate with Charlie Crowley.
It's going to be a 61 maybe Galaxy.
61 or 2. Love to see it. I haven't seen a 67 GTO in a long time, but I had one. If I knew where it was, I'd bring it back today. It's all gone. I had one of those old, I used to call it Ooga horn, the klaxon horn on it. It's surprising. Ooga. Watch some of those auctions on television, and boy, they get a lot of money for some of these old cars that are completely restored.
Cabinet
By
shop.
the way they run this, they've got a good sized motor. Anchor Torches right up the hill from me.
Tankers, yeah.
Anchor family having celebrated in West Plattsburgh, having settled in West Plattsburgh way back in the 1700s.
All you gotta do is drive down the Banker Road and check out the sign in front of the farm.
We got it. Been there forever and ever. Nice people. Shows no signs of quitting, Calvin. It's been underway for now 25 minutes and 10 seconds. Cool, huh?
Yeah.
How are you?
Okay. So tell me a little bit about
Nazarene Church
why don't we
is
do this? Why don't we
the
start
west
with
end of
the
Plattsburgh, and right next to Walgreens, and where the radio station used to be. The Vacation Bible School. Nice old Case tractor there. Vacation Bible School, having attended many of those in my youth. So guarantee you that. My father was a Nazarene minister for many years.
Uh-oh. You're trying to chase people away from going to Bible school?
Yeah.
You're an example of what happens.
That's pathetic. I don't know if I ever finished. I never got my degree.
Bible school dropout.
Yeah. Interesting variety and diversity here in the parade this year that we haven't seen in recent years. I like it. All kinds of different organizations and individuals. But I haven't seen a horse yet. You know, I'm old, so I like to see a horse.
They had horses in Albert, but they were right at the front of the parade.
Oh no, and you were running to get there.
Yeah, they were probably about just behind. I think they were just behind the Grand Marshals.
Oh, they were?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I had the pleasure of being a Grand Marshal of parade only once in my life in Peru. And wouldn't you know, it was the rainiest day. Whoever gave me a ride in their old car, I think it was Roger, somebody anyway, but anyway, we got to the end of the parade and it was pouring rain and they forgot to take me back to the beginning where my car was running.
You had to walk
I
back?
don't mind telling you, I was a frozen you-know-what by the time I got back and soaking wet, all for a good cause. Tie-dyed t-shirts, change people. Not a big local businesses involved. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. We don't mind. You know, Kelvin, I was talking about that parade that you and I went to up in Tupper Lake one time.
Yeah.
Those lumberjacks and those vehicles that are my grandson was a little guy about 12. I'll tell you, it's amazing.
Yeah.
There you go. There's your favorite kind of toilet shower. That's called recycling at its
Yeah.
best. The wind is taking the water right out of our nose. That's over. There you go, Cadillac.
Yeah. A long one.
What do you think?
Sorry.
Just for kids. I got kids. You gotta be a kid to get a blue cup.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. I know several
I was
kids.
hoping they had a cold beer. I suppose you have to be a kid to get that too.
I don't think the Bible Baptist Church will just fill it up with beer.
That's why I brought it up. A lot of these organizations such as this will get an old city bus somewhere and repurpose it for their cause. That's obviously the case here. They still go into it, Calvin.
That's
pretty
good.
good.
That's
We
good.
might
I like-
beat your- we
I
might
like-
beat- You've already beat your 27 minutes in
29.
29.
We just tied it. We just tied just past 29 here since
Yep.
the parade started.
You're doing great.
So this is now officially longer than the Albert Parade.
That's good. The skies are not clear, but I don't think there's any shred of rain right now, although the weather map did show scattered showers right through the course of the afternoon and into this evening. As long as they're widely scattered, mostly over the open Lake Champlain, that's okay with us. Calvin brought an umbrella and I did not. He's only rooming up for what's that guy under that umbrella.
We're warming up for the camera.
Yeah, that's it. We care about the camera. We talked an awful lot about Clinton County Emergency Services, the various fire departments. We're so proud to have one of the best mutual aid systems in the world. A lot of volunteer and paid fire companies.
Wendy was riding shotgun in there.
Yes, she was. Nice fire truck and a number of really good people. Fire trucks always used to be red and red only. Any color as long as it was red. Now
Yeah.
they're blue and white and yellow.
Yeah.
Our boys in Morrisonville, we have the new fire station. There's lots of place for all those trucks. By the way, they tore down, demolished our old green bridge that was built in 1946. And hometown cable cameras were there capturing the entire event here.
I can't wait to see the video.
Oh, you'll love it. It's great. Kids love it. Adults love it. And we claim the only full-length copy of the event from early morning at 7:15 until we took the last piece down at 1:30 in the afternoon. That's great. That looks like Kenny Kip coming with a what is the name? Tanker. I think they blew the engine up and had to get it rebuilt one year, a few years ago. But it's running great now. I saw them out there polishing, getting ready this morning to come down here. A lot of the old fire trucks were open cab.
Oh,
like
yeah.
that. Summer and winter with the snow flying. That's how
I mean,
they went.
these followed the horses pulling them, so this
Exactly right.
was a great step above.
Great old truck.
Yeah.
Beautiful job restoring. Some of these old vehicles were restored by inmates in prison corrections facilities down Florida. Plattsburgh, another one of our volunteer departments. Also, for those people watching are not familiar with mutual aid, it's one of the ways to cooperate. one of that first ambulance ever since the very beginning.
I hope you haven't been out of there too long, Gordy. We just put you back in.
Oh, I was close enough so you might have heard me on the camera, right?
But now all of a sudden you're very much louder.
Much
so
louder.
That,
If we pull hard enough on the cord, it comes out of the camera.
yeah, and they designed this camera. They didn't have me in mind.
Yeah, or me
They would've done it
either.
a little bit differently. So our apologies if you've been straining to hear Gordy. You missed some wonderful things.
Yeah.
Wonderful things, and we apologize. What happens when you're underfunded?
Thank God we got pictures with it, huh? The pictures were good.
We had sound, but
We had some,
a lot of noise competing with it.
yeah. Oh, we got live music coming too.
West Jay-Z.
Yep.
Under the boardwalk, I love the sun of the boardwalk. Maybe I let you boardwalk. People walking above the boardwalk. Maybe falling in love with the boardwalk.
Love it. 8-ball billiards. We've been there. And Boy Scouts, Troop 39. Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts. It's a nice heavy rescue truck from Peru. 276. Great graphics on the side. Look at that. This may be the end of the parade. What do you think?
It looks like it. If that mic cord was pulled out for most of the parade, you and I may have to run out to the front of the parade and do it all over
You
again.
think so? It's like the Lord said to Noah, how long can you tread water? We'd be lucky if we could make it to our cars parked on the old base oval in front of one work source. So many people celebrating so many things on the 4th of July, family events, birthdays, anniversaries, and so on, but us celebrating the birth of our great nation. The 4th of July 1776 to the 4th of July 2014 in downtown Plattsburgh. That's the end of the parade, and we did almost 37 minutes, Calvin. Not bad.
Not bad at all.
You can tell Alberg that they're a very close second. I am rather pleased that we came down to this end of town. This was perfect. It's hard for us to tell how many people were lining the parade route up and down. But at the beginning of the parade, we did have a few hundred brave souls in the wind, and we didn't have, as far as I know, not even one drop of wind. We honored our veterans, we honored our military in every sense of the word, had a large number of floats and participants, and I liked it. The kids and the dogs liked it, and everybody decked out in their red, white, and blue liked it in downtown Plattsburgh. Again, we always stop holding my hat on because the wind gust is coming up. I'm thrilled to have the Calvin behind the cameras and at least the microphone plugged in so you can hear our sign off. Thank you so much for watching this program, for commenting on what we do, and for suggesting places for us to go and people for us to interview. If you can, possibly, write a generous check to help support this program far into the future. It's the only way we can ever keep it going. Whether it's a small amount or a large amount, please write a check or put some cash in an envelope and send it to Hometown Cable in care of Calvin Castine, 1477 Ridge Road in Champlain. Have a happy 4th of July no matter what day it is. and who knows where we're going to be next time for our little corner.